How about the amount of under center that Andy Reid
Mhm.
used, not just in the play, not just in the Super Bowl, but the entire playoffs. This man went from shotgun RPOs to a traditional, just drop back offense with Patrick Mahomes under center. And it was so advantageous to the run game. Isaiah Pacheco is getting wide open looks with these offensive linemen clearing space, getting to run more traditional run concepts. The RPO didn't go away, don't get me wrong, but mixing it in and having some of that play action passing, having some of that ability to keep defenses guessing, it's great. We've been asking for stuff like this for a long time. It doesn't have to be all the time. They've got all the cool stuff that they do out of shotgun, all the cool stuff that they do with their RPOs, but just an occasional ability to put Patrick Mahomes under center and say, guess what? We're going to line up and we're going to beat the hell out of you with our physical offensive line as well. That counter and that ability to lean on that is incredible. Like that was the difference in this game. Coming out of the half and being able to go under center, being able to rely on the run game, play action passing. It was awesome. It was great to see because that's exactly what this offense needed at that exact moment. And the fact that they practiced it, they worked on it a little bit here and there throughout the season, then leaned on it heavily in the playoffs is amazing.
And like, it's kind of funny to me because I think that Chiefs had run 15 plays in the first 28 minutes of the game, right? Maybe a little bit of a blessing in some ways that they didn't get into everything the way that they planned on as early as they planned on. Like they had they just turned around and handed the football off a lot to start the second half. Who knows if they would have started, we would have seen that more in the first half if they had run more plays. Like, who knows? All I know is we didn't get to see the offense much. What we did see, like, I know there was some criticism of Andy in the first half with the play calling. I watching back, man. I don't really have a ton of problems with the play calling. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was really good. I thought there were some really, like, they were hitting some really logical progressions into some of their play action stuff. They went to that play action to Travis Kelce, and it was off some verts and in the basic by Kelce or the dig by, or over by Kelce or whatever it was. But then they came back and they ran that screen to Noah Gray.
Mm-hmm.
With a three-man vertical out in the route, and then they just dumping the ball to Noah Gray, which honestly, Noah Gray might have got more if he had stayed outside. If he'd not caught
a lot more,
if he hadn't caught back up in the middle, there was a lot more space to run outside. He might have got more. He might have got the first down and more. But like, this offense really, like, the whole first half it looked worse than it was, or the results were worse than I think the process. Like, there's so many plays we'll talk about on both sides of the football, I'm sure. But like, I just thought, like, that game was a 10-point lead for the Eagles, and I know the Chiefs got that touchdown, that gifted touchdown, with Jalen Hurts kind of fumbling all over himself. That's fine. That's an equalizer to me because I think the Chiefs had done enough to earn 14 points in that first half, no doubt about it. And maybe even a little. I mean, they probably deserve 17. They missed the field goal, but. I just, like, they were just a tick off so many times. And I think the play calling was great throughout. Honestly, both sides of the football, I felt pretty good about. Execution was close. And I think you got to credit the Eagles for making some big plays too.
I mean, yeah, the Eagles offense especially was phenomenal in this game. I mean, the Eagles surprised me. I mean, I guess across the board, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was we knew they had players on both sides of the ball, and it was kind of the schematic side of it that I really didn't buy into. And, part of that was maybe being a little biased and thinking, oh, Steve Spagnuolo is going to be able to turn it up and he's really going to put it on the Eagles offense. Like, I'm going on that side of it most specifically. I thought he's going to be able to put it on him, and they didn't let him. The fact that they were using Jalen Hurts as a runner and not just off the read option, but running so many QB draws or QB counters and stuff like that, that makes it hard to blitz. A couple times early in the first half, the Chiefs actually called a blitz and the Eagles ran Hurts into it. But when you're running Hurts into it, you either A, you get a free blocker out of the running back, or B, he goes out into the formation and pulls a second level defender. So if your blitz isn't hitting home, it equals a big gain. There was one play where Derek Nottie was zone dropping, never once saw Hurt running. And like it looks bad on film, but what do you want? You want a nose tackle to pedal out 12 yards at an angle,
Yes.
right? Like
yes,
He was he was running to the tight end and only to the tight end and had no
was
idea
doing
what
his
else
job.
was going on.
No, that's
Yeah.
what he's supposed to do. It just
Yeah.
looks bad. And that's the thing
Yeah.
is like they just perfectly ran in behind it. It's just it got really hard for Steve Spagnuolo to do what we all said he needed to do to beat the Eagles, to really put pressure on Jalen Hurts. So I think credit to the Eagles for finding that out. I think it took them their second drive was they had to punt the ball after their second drive, but I think they figured it out there is how the Chiefs are playing. They can't get super exotic. They can't get into all this different stuff if we're going to threaten them with a QB run, not a read option, but a QB run. Because remember, Bolton swallowed up. It might have even been on that series. He swallowed up a read option, and I think that was part of I think that was the drive they forced a punt. Mm-hmm. So I just credit to the Eagles for that. Got to give, every hat tip you can to Jalen Hurts. Some of the throws he was making were phenomenal. This is the best I've ever seen him throw the football. And I think we all said it. You want to make the Eagles beat you with Jalen Hurts, and by goodness, they got close, right? Like that's what they almost did.
Boy,
so
howdy.
The Chiefs didn't do anything wrong. The Eagles, especially on offense, just made plays. And they just simply made plays.
That cover 2 hole shot that he threw to Dallas Goedert was insane. Yes, I know that it got reviewed. There was some debate over whether or not it was a catch. They end up ruling it a catch there. What is undeniable about that is that ball placement was flawless. Like the Chiefs played that about as well as you can possibly play that, with having the corner sink underneath it, having the safety over the top there. And he just put it right on him. He had another one to Goedert where he put just over Justin Reid, who was in phenomenal coverage. Another one to Goedert over the top of Leo Chanel. His ball placement was fantastic outside of maybe 2 or 3 plays. Like that was it. It wasn't one of those games where, he makes 4 awesome throws and the rest of them are mediocre. It was the polar opposite of that. So yeah, it was pulling teeth for that Eagles offense. It was very difficult for them to move the ball. You're going to look at that stat line and say, oh, it doesn't seem like it. Look at all those things. But every single one of those was contested catches, was difficult. And when you contrast that with the Kansas City Chiefs and how open guys were and how schematically Andy Reid was manipulating those defensive ends, those linebackers, those safeties, and just keeping them guessing all game long, you could just see there. It still applied. What we were talking about before the game, the schematics, the X's and O's, it still applied. The difference was the Jimmies and Joes on the Eagles offensive side were just making just barely enough plays to counteract that. Whereas when the Chiefs offense took the field, they were just throwing wide open dudes for most of the second half.
A couple of things. The margin for error for the Eagles on the offensive side of the football was way slimmer than the Chiefs. And I just think about plays. This one kills me. The first possession, Jalen Hurts scrambles for a first down. L'Jarius Sneed tried to use Devontae Smith to squeeze Jalen Hurts to the sidelines.
Yes, he did.
And it almost worked.
Yes, it did.
Almost just like, it's just like these razor thin moments for this team where it was just like just a tick off. The Eagles had to play their best version of their offense. And honestly, I think that was the best version of this offense. Like, I don't think they could have done anything better. Jalen Hurts was on one for most of the game. The funny thing is, I think the AJ Brown touchdown down the field might've been one of his worst throws. Like that, there was so many other big throws there. That one was just AJ Brown, like making a phenomenal play and adjustment. He was kind of late on that one, but there's just so many little small. Chiefs were so close to getting off the field. They were just a tick off getting off the field. Just almost squeezing Jalen Hurts to the sideline, almost making a tackle here. Leo Chanel's in perfect coverage on Dallas Goedert, and he gets mossed like from the ground. But you get the point. It's like these small little things just were going the Eagles' way, and I think that showed up when the results were all said and done. The Chiefs, on the other hand, no resistance. Like just very little resistance the entirety of the day. We can make arguments about some of the possessions and how they ended. One was a self-inflicted error getting behind the sticks by Orlando Brown. The other one, if we're going to talk about pass interference calls and all this stuff, Juju got straight turned, grabbed and turned on third down, and they didn't call it. So I I just like it was not hard on the Chiefs to put the ball down the field, and it felt like the Eagles were always just operating on thin margins, and just it was coming up Eagles every single time. That's why you're right. You got to give a ton of credit to the Eagles.
Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. Check out these videos that feature our team of more than 15 former players, insiders, and analysts bringing you the best Chiefs coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.